communities have existed in the United States dating back to the earliest of years, but were made popular starting in the 1800s by various groups that wanted to challenge the traditional norms and social conservatism of the American society. These groups were struggling under the current urbanization and industrialization of the times. They desired to remove themselves from the world that was evolving in a new age direction that contradicted their old world styles of living. All of these communities set out to establish a perfect society for religion, but eventually transformed to reflect social perfectibility. These principles were based on economic and political equality, equal labor and reward, common property, race, and gender equality. Other communities were formed to promote human cultures and brotherly cooperation. The belief that man was naturally good and that human institutions were perfectible had raised tremendous expectations about the possibilities of reform and renewal. These experiments ultimately disintegrated, but for a while tried to be ideal places where a brotherhood of followers shared equally in the goods of their labor and lived in peace. It seemed that within the great American experiment, searching for utopia required only the commitment of people who found it easy to believe that nothing was impossible. Although all of the communities failed, many had a lengthy existence and others had a lasting impact on American society. One of the first and arguably most successful was the Harmon Society. This was a Christian Theosophy and Pietist society formed in Butler County, Pennsylvania in 1805 by George Rapp. Members were known as Harmonists, Harmonites, or Rappites. The society is best known for its worldly successes, most notably the establishment of three model communities, the first at Harmony, Pennsylvania, the second, also called Harmony, in the Indiana Territory, now New Harmony, Indiana, and the third and final town, Economy, now Ambridge, Pennsylvania. The Harmonites were a prosperous agricultural and industrial people. They were some of the first to begin using machinery that helped them to be successful in their trade. Brook Farm was a utopian experiment in communal living in the United States in the 1840s. It was founded by former Unitarian minister George Ripley and his wife Sophia Ripley at the Ellis Farm in West Roxbury, Massachusetts in 1841, and was inspired in part by the ideals of a religious and cultural philosophy based in New England. It promised its participants a portion of the profits from the farm in exchange for performing an equal share of the work. Brook farmers believed that by sharing the workload, ample time would be available for leisure activities and intellectual pursuits. The community lasted for 5 years and was never financially stable. The main source of income was the school, which was overseen by Mrs. Ripley, a preschool, primary school, and a college preparatory school attracted children internationally, and each child was charged for his or her education. The community failed, but the orphanage, treatment center, and school continued on for the next 130 years. The Oneida community was founded in 1848 and lasted until 1881. The Oneida community practiced communalism in the sense of communal property and possessions. The Oneida community believed strongly in a system of free love known as complex marriage, which includes raising of children as a community responsibility. All community members were expected to work, each according to his or her abilities. Women tended to do much of the domestic duties. Oneida's silverware of today began during this era in 1877. As Oneida thrived, it began to hire outsiders to work in these positions as well. They were a major employer in the area with approximately 200 employees by 1870. The community failed in 1881 after the founder, John Humphrey Nose, died. The Icarian community was a utopian socialist movement founded and led by followers of the politician, journalist, and author Étienne Cabet. They created a series of non-religious communal communities in 5 states: Texas, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and California. These colonies were one of the longest tenured of the utopian societies, lasting from 1848 until their disbanding in 1898. All work was divided by gender. Men worked as tailors, masons, wheelwrights, shoemakers, mechanics, blacksmiths, carpenters, tanners, and butchers. Women worked as cooks, seamstresses, washerwomen, and ironers. To earn money, the Icarians established commerce with the outside world by a small store outside their colony. Here they sold their handmade shoes, boots, and dresses, and also sold items made by the mills and distillery. The Amana colonies consisted of 7 villages that still exist today, though not as a utopian community. The colonies were built and settled by German Pietists persecuted in Germany for their religious beliefs. Work duties were divided amongst genders. Women maintained domestic duties such as laundry, cooking, and gardening, while the men handled the industrial type work. Children played a role in the workforce as well by helping in their gender areas. The Amana colony formed as a corporation in 1856 due to Iowa laws and continued as a communal community until the mid-30s. Today, the Amana Society lives on through the Amana Corporation, which specializes in appliances. The Great Awakening of the early part of the century laid the foundation for the Utopian movement and the freedom of religion guaranteed in the First Amendment of the Constitution. It attracted and encouraged the development of these perfect colonies. Utopian societies were not long lived, but did play a role in the development of America. From Mormonism to refrigeration, communal kitchens, and the development of social services such as educational facilities and orphanages. Today, many of the areas that were established colonies are now historic sites that thrive as tourist attractions.